Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel where I read the Bible to you. And I'm excited to continue where I left off. Before we get started, I just want to introduce that my name is Jocelyn, and I like to tell you where I'm reading from before I get started. So I read from two different Bibles. One is the New Living Translation. This is like my go-to because it's just easy for me to digest once I started thoroughly reading the Bible. And then my second is the Life Application Study Bible because it gives you all the historical facts. It gives you maps and pretext and authors and just a lot of good information for someone who enjoys reading the Bible like me. Now, I will give a disclaimer. If you've been watching some of my previous videos, it does just randomly cut off. I am recording on my phone. I'm not planning to upgrade at any point right now. This is solely just me walking in obedience right now. So I'm just going to use my phone. I'm not spending any money on this thing. So I apologize in advance if this happens to cut off. I did just upgrade my iPhone storage, so I'm hoping that we can get through some more chapters before I just get cut off. Anything else that I need to mention? Yeah, let's just do a little what is it called? A review on what we've went over. So in the previous part 1 of Adam and Eve, we kind of went through how Adam was in charge of naming all the animals. God put him into a deep sleep because he said it's not good for man to be alone. He pulled a rib out of Adam and he created Eve. Eve was in the garden, was talking to a serpent, also known as the devil, and he basically convinced and deceived her to eat the fruit so that she can be aware of, she can have more wisdom per se. And she ate the fruit, shared with Adam. God kind of was like, what are you guys doing? Like, I already told you not to do this. Why are you doing it? Who told you that you were naked? Because they started to have more knowledge. They started sewing up fig leaves. And God kind of like, bruh, what are y'all doing? I already told you not to do this. Why have you done this? So fast forward, God cursed them with some things. He cursed the serpent, basically saying that from now on, you kind of will be moving on the ground, swarming. Adam, he pretty much told him that you're going to be working by the sweat of your brows, like all the time. And for women, he put pregnancy pain on us and a couple of other things that I just can't think off at the top of my head. Fast forward, Adam and Eve had a baby. They had two babies. They had two sons, Cain and Abel. Abel was a shepherd, and I believe Cain was, I don't remember, but I do have the Bible right here in front of me. Yeah, so Abel was a shepherd, and Cain cultivated the ground. I'm going to basically just assume that's a farmer. They both went into worship and sacrifice, and Abel sacrificed. God received Abel's sacrifice, and he kind of denied Cain's. Cain got jealous, ended up killing his brother. God was looking at him again like, bruh, what are you doing? Cain was like, what are you talking about? I didn't do anything. He's like, where's your brother? He's like, am I my brother's keeper? Why would I know? Like, pretty much going back and forth with God, and God pretty much put a punishment. He punished him, basically saying that he would be wandering for 7 years, and that he pretty much told him that he would be wandering for 7 years, and he kicked him out of his presence. And Cain left, and he settled in the land of Nod, which is east of Eden. And funny, because Nod means wandering. So I feel like I went way too long with that review, but Now we're going to continue into chapter 4. We're going to jump into verses 17, and this is the descendants of Cain. I am sorry if I mess up majority of these names. I am still trying to pronounce everything correctly. So if you are from any place and you are familiar with the phonetic pronunciation of the names, my bad in advance. So anyway, chapter 4, verses 17. Cain had sexual relations with his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Then Cain founded a city, which he named Enoch after his son. Enoch had a son named Irad. Irad became the father of Mehujael. Mehujael became the father of Methushael. Methushael became the father of Lamech. Lamech married 2 women. The first was named Adah, and the second was Zillah. Adah gave birth to Jabal, who was the first of those who raised livestock and live in tents. Where was y'all living before? His brother's name was Jubal. So you have Jabal and Jubal. He was the first of all who played the harp and flute. Lamech's other wife, Zillah, gave birth to a son named Tubal Cain. He became an expert in forging tools of bronze and iron. Tubal Cain had a sister named Naamah. One day Lamech said to his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice. Listen to me, you wives of Lamech. I have killed a man who attacked me, a young man who wounded me. If someone who kills Cain is punished 7 times, then the one who kills me will be punished 77 times. Verse 25. Adam had sexual relations with his wife again, and she gave birth to another son. She named him Seth, for she said, God has granted me another son in place of Abel, whom Cain killed. When Seth grew up, he had a son and named him Enosh. At that time, people first began to worship the Lord by name. Chapter 5. This is the written account of the descendants of Adam. When God created human beings, he made them to be like himself. He created them male and female, and he blessed them and called them human. When Adam was 130 years old, he became the father of a son who was just like him, in his very image. He named his son Seth. After the birth of Seth, Adam lived another 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Adam lived 930 years, and then he died. When Seth was 105 years old, he became the father of Enosh. After the birth of Enosh, Seth lived another 807 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Seth lived 912 years, and then he died. When Enosh was 90 years old, he became the father of Kenan. After the birth of Kenan, Enosh lived another 815 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Enosh lived 905 years, and then he died. When Kenan was 70 years old, he became the father of Mahalalel. Jesus help me. Mahalalel. After the birth of Mahalalel, Kenan lived another 840 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Kenan lived 910 years, and then he died. Mahalalel was 65 years old. He became the father of Jared. After the birth of Jared, Mahalalel lived another 830 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Mahalalel lived 895 years, and then he died. When Jared was 162 years old, he became the father of Enoch. After the birth of Enoch, Jared lived another 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Jared lived 962 years, and then he died. When Enoch was 65 years old, he became the father of Methuselah. After the birth of Methuselah, Enoch lived in close fellowship with God for another 300 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Enoch lived 365 years, walking in close fellowship with God. Then one day he disappeared because God took him. When Methuselah was 187 years old, he became the father of Lamech. After the birth of Lamech, Methuselah lived another 782 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Methuselah lived 969 years, and then he died. When Lamech was 182 years old, he became the father of a son, Noah. For he said, "May he bring us relief from our work and the painful labor of farming this ground that the Lord has cursed." After the birth of Noah, Lamech lived another 595 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Lamech lived 777 years, and then he died. By the time Noah was 500 years old, he was the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So guys, that was chapter 4, verses 17, and then we're stopping at chapter 5, verses, basically all of chapter 5. I'm going to do another video, which is chapter 6, and then we're going to get into the story of Noah, which I'm really excited about. I just wanted to mention something real quick. It's funny how the descendants of Cain and his wife had names like Enoch, what else? Okay, I think that's it. Enoch and Lamech, both of their descendants, Seth and Cain, which are brothers, they've named kind of like their children. Their descendants have a very much similar names. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. All right, let's go ahead and continue with Genesis 6 in the next video. Thank you so much for listening.